WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Gruesome new details revealed in court today after the body of a missing Richmond mother was found last week. Detectives answering questions about how and where Savannah Spurlock was found. After a 6-month search, Spurlock's remains were found buried at a home in Garrett County. Police say that land is owned by the family of David Sparks. He's charged with tampering with evidence and abuse of a corpse. WYMT's Phil Pendleton was in the courtroom today for Sparks' preliminary hearing. He explains the detective's testimony and the questions still unanswered.
Questions are beginning to be answered in a case that has burdened the friends and family of Savannah Spurlock. But it's still not easy hearing how your best friend's body was found.
You just don't ever hope to hear anything like that. It's pretty gruesome.
Police say the body of the young mother of 4 was found buried 19 inches in the ground.
Concealed within multiple black trash bags. The body was unclothed. The feet were bound with tape, and the body was in an unnatural position. And by that I mean her head and feet were in the same position. She was folded over in half.
David Sparks is the only one facing charges. Police say after Spurlock went with him and others to his home on Price Court, Sparks initially told police they fell asleep in different rooms and she had left when he woke up. But police say they found evidence of a blood stain in his closet.
The sample of the blood stain was a DNA profile match to a sample of Savannah Spurlock.
But exactly what happened to cause her death is still under investigation.
Now, at any time since you first interviewed Mr. Sparks, did he come back to tell you that Savannah suffered an injury?
He did not.
I think there will probably be a little bit more charges, and the people that may have been there may be involved. But at the end of the day, I think now that we've got Savannah, I feel like it's pretty cut and dry as to what happened to her that night.
A judge did find probable cause after the hearing, and the next phase of the case will be in the grand jury's hands. In Garrett County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
No bond has been set for David Sparks. He's being held at the Lincoln County Jail. We are still waiting to hear when a Perry County murder suspect will appear in court for the first time. Police arrested Anthony Lewis this morning. Police charged him with murder after a woman was found beaten to death at the Bobby Davis Park yesterday. That woman was 37-year-old Marlena Holland from Perry County. Those with the Hope House, a homeless shelter in Hazard, say Marlena stayed there when she fell on hard times. People who knew her say she liked to laugh.
There's a lot of heartbreak here at the shelter today. I've talked to so many people who have gotten to know her, and some have known her for a long time. And I had the privilege of being in the same youth group as her growing up, and so we've been to church together a lot and just have a lot of good memories.
A group set up a fund for Holland's funeral expenses. You can donate by stopping by the front desk at Hazard City Hall. A Pike County man died in a crash this morning. Kentucky State Police say it happened around 7:30 on the Zebulon Highway in the Meta area. 42-year-old Anthony Varney was driving north when his car left the roadway and went into a large ditch. He was pronounced dead at the scene. 2 people are facing criminal charges after they admitted to snorting drugs before driving with a child in the vehicle. Deputies with the Logan County Sheriff's Department in West Virginia arrested 37-year-old Timothy Caserta and 23-year-old Chelsea Calloway after they were found passed out in a car. They admitted to snorting heroin. A 5-year-old child was in the back seat. Both suspects are in the Southwestern Regional Jail. A Lexington missionary came to Harlan today to help Black Jewel miners pay their bills. Father Jim Sitchko with the Diocese of Lexington came to the Holy Trinity Catholic Church in Harlan, offering to pay the utility bill for 1 month for Black Jewel miners. The only things Father Sitchko asked of the miners was that they show up with an ID, bring their utility bill, and help others when they can.
And I bet one day in their lives they'll assist me, or better yet, I hope that they will pay it forward when they recoup what they're due.
Father Sitchko gave out more than $20,000 to cover the miners' electrical bills. He says while it was more than his budget, he knows God will provide the money needed. Lawmakers will be back in Frankfort later this week. They are working against a deadline to provide pension relief to dozens of quasi-governmental agencies. After months of work, Governor Matt Bevin called the special session for Friday. Hillary Thornton talked to officials at one agency, hoping for a deal at the end of the session.
It has been a special session, several months in the making. Dozens of groups relieved to hear that there is some movement regarding a situation that for many is financially unstable.
We're very appreciative that the governor understands the crisis.
That crisis is the already high pension contribution rate jumping from 49% to 84%.
That's a very significant jump and wipes out some of their budgets.
Eileen Rechtenwald is talking about some of the state's rape crisis centers. They are just one example of the many quasi-governmental agencies and regional universities dealing with a big unknown when it comes to their budgets. That new high rate kicking in this month, their first bill at that rate due August 10th, which is why they are relieved to hear lawmakers gavel in this Friday morning.
We're looking forward to something happening. We hope that we will at least get the 1 year reprieve.
And that freeze at the current rate is a part that pretty much everyone agrees on. It is the path forward where opinions start to differ. Governor Matt Bevin's bill, which he rolled out back in May, giving groups options to either stay in the state system or exit it. Democrats concerned about what exiting the system could mean for current employees and retirees who have paid into the system. House Democrats late last week putting forward their own proposal. The governor's announcement today calling his bill, quote, the only fiscally responsible plan. Hillary Thornton, WYMT Mountain News.
This will be the third special session called by Governor Bevin.
This afternoon we saw scattered showers and storms, but as that sun set, we saw those storms dissipate, and now we're just left with a little bit of fog and a few light showers around the region. You can see on our Whitesburg cam, those folks downtown, fog just now starting to roll in, and that's going to continue to hang around through those overnight and early morning hours. Pinpoint Doppler showing those storms a little bit stronger the last few hours, but starting to weaken as we head towards midnight. So overall, that's going to be the trend, but a few sprinkles definitely can't be ruled out overnight and into those early morning hours. And those temperatures into the low 70s to upper 60s right now, and that's where they're going to stay throughout the overnight hours. So overall, that rain really worked to cool us down as we headed into the evening. Now our isolated chance is going to continue even into tonight. Like I said, a few sprinkles are possible and isolated chances for tomorrow. But then come Wednesday, we're going to start to see remnants from what was Hurricane Barry as it heads towards eastern Kentucky. And then after that, we have a hot weekend in store, and I'll break down those rain chances and the temperature trends in just a few minutes. Steve.
All right, thank you, Kelly. A memorial for an officer that will never be forgotten. Eagle Scout Jacob Franham handmade a sign in honor of fallen Pikeville police officer Scotty Hamilton. His hard work was shown off today as the sign was unveiled. WYMT's Emily Bennett was at the dedication to talk about the meaning behind the project.
A lot of time.
347 hours.
And much emotion.
So he put his heart and soul into this memorial here at Scotty.
After the funeral of Pikeville police officer Scotty Hamilton, Jacob Franham knew he wanted his Eagle Scout project to honor Hamilton.
He had actually had other ideas. He was going to do other things to be his Eagle project, and probably would have been a little bit easier, taking a little bit less time. But the emotion of everything just really took him over, and he really felt like this is something he was called to do.
A lot of thought went into the design.
Of course, his picture and his badge, as well as his end of watch date, as well as the blue lens here. We had a couple of design changes over the course of the project.
And the materials have meaning behind them too.
Some of Scotty's family actually gave him this wood that was a part of the old Pikeville pool, so it's got a really heart here in the city of Pikeville.
Hamilton's mom knows her son would be very pleased.
I'm sure he's up there smiling. He's watching all these kids.
And she's touched by this memorial.
Amazing. It was such amazing. He did a really good job. A lot of thought and effort went into that. He's a special young man.
Just wanting to honor a fallen hero. In Pike County, Emily Bennett, WYMT Mountain News.
The sign is located right in front of the Pikeville Police Department. One group in Elkhorn City in Pike County is trying to preserve some of the area's railroad history by renovating the Elkhorn City Railroad Museum. The museum, opened in the 1980s, has been closed since 2016 due to damages caused by a broken water line. Now the museum is being repaired to offer a place to showcase the area's history. Ballard Shoemate, one of the men spearheading the effort, says it is all about community.
We enjoy doing it, and it was something the community needed, and we wanted to volunteer to help, and hoped we could get others involved in it as well.
The museum is currently open only on Friday through Sunday, but Shoemate says he hopes to be open more when the renovation is complete. Coming up at 11, find out why a circuit court judge believes those with substance abuse disorders must be treated differently than just guilty or not guilty.
We have one more relatively dry day before we see tropical remnants here in the mountains. I'll have those details coming up.